Hi everyone, welcome back to Desired Foods. Today we are making stewed oxtail. So starting out with my washed oxtail, I'm just going to add some salt to this. Now you want to go slightly heavy on the salt, so I am putting a full teaspoon. And then I'm just adding 2 tablespoons of some homemade green seasoning, and you're just going to mix that all together. To this we're just going to add half of a white onion, and then we're going to add 1 tomato, a sprig of fresh thyme, some fresh parsley and some fresh spring onions. Now you're going to give that a good mix till everything is combined. To this I'm going to add a splash of tomato ketchup, and then I'm just going to add a tiny bit of browning to this, and then you're going to give that a good mix. So all I did was wrap this and I let this marinate overnight. Now if you haven't got that time, just make sure that you do it for a few hours or as long as you can. So now that my meat is marinated, I'm just going to add some vegetable oil to a hot pan, and then I'm just going to add my brown sugar. Now when you add the brown sugar, you're going to keep an eye on this, and as soon as it gets to a red auburney colour, you need to watch it because it can go very dark very quickly, and if it does, then you're going to get a bitter taste. Now you want to get the meat in before that, so as it starts to froth and turns a nice amber colour, that's when we're going to add our meat. Now your meat will never taste like sugar. This is purely for colour only, so this is to colour the meat, but your dish will not taste like sugar. So we're going to keep on turning this. I do advise to keep a window or something open because obviously you will get a lot of smoke from this. So now you can see it's turning to that frothy consistency. So here you want it to go slightly dark, and then you want to add your meat. You don't want it to go too dark, but then the sugar burns and then you'll have to start all over again. So at this point you want to just add your meat, so try and leave all that seasoning behind like I have, and you just want to coat all the meat in that sugar. So as you can see, it's browning that meat, so all the sugar is helping to colour our oxtail. So you're going to let this cook for about 10 minutes because we want it to spring its own juices. In the meantime, I'm just adding about a cup of hot water to my mixing bowl that had the meat marinating in there, and with all the seasonings that's left, because we're going to add that after. So what you're going to do at the minute, you're just going to cook this and keep on turning it for about 5 to 6 minutes, and then what we're going to do, we're going to pop the lid on, and then we're going to leave it for another 5 minutes till it springs all its juices. So now that I've had this cooking for about 5 minutes, I'm just going to pop the lid on and I'm going to let that cook with the lid on for a further 5 minutes. So that is my 10 minutes of cooking. And then you're just going to give it a good mix. So as you can see, it's just sprung all of its juices out of the oxtail. So then you want to put this on a high heat and burn off the excess juices. So now that you can see the juices have reduced a lot, and it's clinging to the meat. This is the type of situation that we are looking for. So all that flavour to coat the meat and really stick onto the meat. And then to this, we're going to add some creamed coconut. So I'm just using the block here. So we're just going to add a bit of that in there, and we're just going to let that cook down. So as that's melting down, we're going to add our bowl with the 1 cup of water and all the rest of the seasoning that was left in the bowl from our meat when we were marinating it. Now, the reason why I didn't want to add this before, because when you're stewing your oxtail, what would happen, all the actual seasoning would have burnt by now. So I always add it in after. So now you're just going to give this a good mix. And then we're going to turn that heat down to low. If you do feel like you need a little bit more water, you can add by all means. And then to this, I'm just going to add 1 chopped carrot. Now you can add some beans to this if you like. You can add some potatoes. It's totally up to you. So I've just popped the lid on and I'm going to cook that for about 35 minutes. So now that it's been cooking for 35 minutes, I'm just going to give it a good stir. So that's the stage that we're at now. And then I'm going to pop the lid on and leave that for a further 30 to 35 minutes. So that is the stage that we are at now. And I am using a pressure cooker. So that is my oxtail all done and falling off the bone. So this is my version of Caribbean stewed oxtail. I hope you've liked this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.